So I'm going to start my presentation today with slides. I am going to talk about using AI and actually using the tools of digital learning and AI for feedback. So to start me off, I'm going to ask on a scale of 1 to 5, how easy do you find it easy do you find it delivering difficult feedback? So how easy is it for you to deliver difficult feedback? Where 1 is it's very easy, and then 5 is it's not easy at all. So give me a scale of 1 to 5. How easy is it for you to deliver difficult feedback? Where 1 is it's very, very easy. I mean, I don't even think about it. I wake up and the first thing immediately it happens, I have to give feedback. Okay. And then 5 being, it's really, I don't even do it at all. If I can avoid it, I avoid it as much as possible. Okay, great. So we have 3s and 4s, actually quite a bit of 4s. Then we have some 3s, some 3s. Great, 3s. Good. Let me see if I have one more. Okay, so I have another 3 coming. So it is quite interesting, this thing called feedback. And I have even 4 from one last person called Kimanthi. It is not always the easiest of things to deliver. And even if feedback is one of the ways that we say provides care, when we care for people, we actually want to give them feedback so that they can grow. But usually because of the personal confrontation you have with someone, it makes it a little bit difficult and not that straightforward. I am yet to find someone who puts a 1 and says, I wake up and I deliver it. Even the people whose personalities lend themselves to being straight shooters, when it comes to delivering difficult feedback, they find it a bit difficult. And so I want to talk a little bit about the background of why that might be. Before then, we explore and see what are some of the tools out there that we have that can help us when it comes to being able to deliver and give feedback. So first and foremost, who are we? We are Profiles International. If this is the first time you're coming to our webinar, we work in the area of talent development and management. We provide psychometric assessments for recruitment and development. We provide emotional intelligence solutions for the workplace. So these are assessments and trainings and even coaching. We do team buildings, but not the kind for the field. These ones are classroom. They involve personality assessments. And we also do the 5 behaviors of a cohesive team. And today's webinar is powered by one of our brands called Cross Knowledge. And Cross Knowledge is really the brand that we utilize when it comes to digital learning. And so we're going to be talking about some of the tools we have there under Cross Knowledge that you can then be able to utilize to try and make this thing called feedback a little more palatable. So Liz, tell me if you can see my slides.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thanks. Great. So I want to talk about something that I had the pleasure of talking about at the IHRM conference last month, and that is cognitive diversity. The one thing we rarely measure when it comes to diversity, we're very good at measuring gender diversity, tribal diversity, age diversity, and measurement, but really cognitive diversity might not be as easy for us to measure. And cognitive diversity is different thinking, meaning that I, as Vicky, I have my own way of seeing problems, and Elizabeth has her own way of seeing the problems, and not only seeing them, she has her own way of solving these problems. So because of that, we are different thinkers. Even the term thinking itself, we might apply different definitions to it. But what happens is that cognitive diversity is a very, very important because it gives us different perspectives when it comes to conversations, when it comes to problem solving, but it is not always possible because of this thing about feedback, about communicating effectively across our differences. So for example, I know that we're doing a project together with Mumbi, and I feel from my point of view and from my thought process, I could possibly give her feedback about one or two things that I feel could be done better. And I feel sometimes that is not easy. I cannot communicate that effectively sometimes without seeming either combative, without going a little bit soft, especially when I'm trying to hold her or she's trying to hold me accountable. So communicating effectively across differences is what actually makes cognitive diversity work. When someone says, I want to throw a spanner in the works, and of course the whole room goes, oh my goodness, surely another one. And not recognizing that that spanner in the works might be the beginning of another very, very important conversation around something. Not recognizing sometimes even being able to deliver feedback to someone helps them see exactly how they're contributing to the success of projects and even how their behavior might be affecting the lack of success of a project. So as a manager, for instance, I have my 3 or 4 reportees. But it is easier to work with reportees who think like me. In fact, the fact is we tend to work with people who think like us because it's easier for us to communicate. But when people think slightly different from us, we find it difficult. And in fact, we might inadvertently not be spending as much time as we should with them. We might avoid them. We might, when they walk into the room, we walk across, we call them difficult, and there are people still who are reporting to you, but it's just that they communicate differently, they think differently, and sometimes it might not be something that you're comfortable with. So the challenge of diverse minds is that diverse perspectives lead to conflict or misunderstanding rather than innovation. So that's the first thing we have to understand. Every time we have a difference of opinions, and because we have often been led by our own selves and our egos to believe that our opinion is indeed valid, then when someone else brings in another opinion, that is the beginning of conflict for us. And if we are aware of this, then we know that this diversity is actually a double-edged sword. Because if we know how to harness the friction that comes, if we know how to effectively handle that friction, then it will fuel innovation because we will ensure that the right questions have been asked, and we will not have people who come, they come to the conversation, like I'm sure you've been in a team where everyone said, yes, 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 let's do this. And immediately something started going wrong. There were those who said, you guys, if you had asked me, I'd have told you to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. But then it's too late. Where were you when we actually needed that information? Why? Perhaps there was no psychological safety to be able to share that opinion. And so we have to learn the long way where we have to first make a mistake. So skills that turn diversity into innovation, they are not technical. I might read from the book of Job, you might read from another book, and we need to sit down and share that information for us to get technical. I was sitting in a sorry, to get innovative. I was sitting in a meeting today in the morning, and we had 3 different mindsets. One was of the opinion that having structure is not, is not really the way to go. We should allow things to flow. And then someone else was of the opinion that no, we should have structure, but flow with it as it goes along. And the last one was like, we shouldn't even move. We should first institute structure and then allow things to flow after that. But when you listen further, you can understand where these people are coming from. And that's why you can't interrupt someone and tell them, whatever you're saying is rubbish. We know you. You always want to go with the flow. You don't like getting structure. Because it's not even the first words that people speak that have a meaning. It's the background or the context that they give that make you understand where they're coming from and whether it's relevant or not. So skills that turn diversity into innovation, they're actually not technical, they are relational. And we keep talking about them all the time whenever we have webinars. It's the listening, it's the empathy, it's feedback, it's perspective taking, and it is what we call constructive confrontation. So we all know, no one here, I don't believe there is anyone who does not say that feedback is important. We teach it, we tell it to everyone. We even say feedback is a breakfast of champions, and we say we would like to get feedback. But knowing what to do is not the same as being able to do it. In fact, we all know that we need to be kind to each other, but the actual act of kindness, how often do you practice it on a scale of 1 to 10, if you think about it? Yet, on a scale of 1 to 10, we all know that being kind is important. And it's the same thing about feedback. A survey, I think maybe I shared this in the last webinar, and we ask our leaders, is it important to be self-aware? Everyone said out of 1 to 10, it is very important to be self-aware. But when we ask, what is the importance getting feedback from others? Now, because feedback is very personal and it touches you, that became not very important. And feedback conversations, they often go wrong because of cognitive and emotional biases. My thinking about situations, I'm biased, what we call Dan Kruger's effect, where we think we know more than we actually know. So when we are speaking, we speak from an expert view, so to speak. But usually when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, there are 9 ways to kill a cat. And then the other one is emotional biases. The way people show up to us defines the way that they actually engage with us. So as Vicky, first thing I do is I greet you and I smile and I say what a lovely suit or dress you're wearing. Already I'm putting in a position where you have more pleasant feelings in yourself. And so I'm able to engage back with you. But can you imagine having feedback? There is not pleasant section. It's actually in the unpleasant section, where the first thing you're thinking about is what is the easiest way for me to fight or to fly, to get out of this situation. So we might be withdrawing from conflict, or sometimes just staying on for conflict for the sake of it. Or it might be those that use the fight option. We lean into conflict and the way we handle it is not so good. But we can only learn these skills through experience and reflection and not just instruction. And that's where we say that skills actually grow from being a skill to capability, to being able to do it. But the problem is we can't always have situations where we can practice this safely. Maybe the people around us, we feel that they might judge us for trying to try and get feedback or give feedback from them. So to harness real diverse thinking, first, we must try to create psychologically safe environments to practice uncomfortable conversations. So we must understand personality styles, cultural perspectives. We must take that time to understand how does my style like to receive feedback, but even more importantly, how does my style give feedback and how is it received across the other personality styles that you find at the workplace? Because every single one of the people that you are having around you has a different preferred way of receiving feedback. So we can't always be looking for situations to learn. And this is now where technology comes in. And what I'm about to show you is just simply how you can use, for example, things like AI to be able to help you navigate the wonderful world of feedback. And this is just an avatar created to give feedback. I want you to tell me if you can hear my sound.
Hey, great that you're here. I'm Charles, and I'm here to help you practice giving feedback in any scenario. Before we start, I'll ask a few quick questions to set the scene. The more details you share, the more realistic the practice will be. Sound good?
Yes, Charles, it sounds good. And I'm ready to start.
Great, let's get started. What's your name and role in this situation?
My name is Vicky, and I am a manager who is handling a difficult employee who keeps coming late, and I would like to give them feedback around what that is doing to the team.
Thanks, Vicky. Can you please give me some background on what happened with Elizabeth and what specific feedback you're looking to give her? The more detail, the better.
So Elizabeth keeps coming late to work. It's affecting our projects. It's also affecting the morale of the team. I seem to be slacking because I am not calling her out when it comes to giving this feedback to her on her coming late. And I would like to know how to deliver this message in a way that she takes it positively and sees the need to change.
Great, thanks, Vicky. Last part, can you briefly describe what kind of person Elizabeth is? For example, is she defensive, sensitive, very direct, laid back, etc.? How do you think she will react to feedback?
Elizabeth is very defensive, and I think she will react defensively.
Okay, I think I have enough information to go into my role. Ready to go?
Yes, I am ready to go.
Hi, Vicky. You wanted to see me? I just want to say up front that I've been doing my best, so if this is about something going wrong, I'm sure there's more to it than you might think.
Hello, Elizabeth. Thank you for coming to see me. I wanted to talk to you about the hours that you've been coming to work. I think you could do better.
Angry, seriously? I mean, I know I've been a few minutes late here and there, but I always stay late to make up for it. No one's ever said it was an issue before. Honestly, I feel like I'm being singled out. It's not fair.
I think if you look back to the last 2 weeks, there's not a single time you've come in before 9 o'clock. You can look at your clocking records, and it's not a big deal other than it's affecting the team's output. We are unable to start certain processes without you being there, and we start at 8, and everyone gets locked out until you come to the office.
So now my whole team is blaming me for their own delays? That's what this is. I'm doing my job, Vicky. I'm just not a morning person, and I've never let my work slip. Not once. If something is late, it's definitely not just because of me. I feel like you're just piling it all on my shoulders, and it's honestly really frustrating.
Elizabeth, you do a great job. You are one of the star performers here. And the only issue here is that there are timelines to when we have to log in. And when you don't show up on time in those timelines, it affects the rest of the team. What do you think?
Oh, so this is supposed to make me feel better? Because honestly, it doesn't. I get that I'm good at my job. I work hard for that. But if you and the team know I'm a top performer, why can't there be some flexibility for me? The rules just seem so rigid, and it feels like you're not even considering anything from my side. I just wish there was more understanding around here, instead of jumping straight to criticism.
So what the system tells me now is the things that I did not do that probably resulted in Elizabeth being more and more defensive about the situation. And if we had more time, I mean, this is something that you can practice over and over again until you start getting it right. And we all have those employees who are quite defensive. And the thing is, they do not go away. And wherever you find yourself in any work situation, you will find that your ability or your capability of being able to handle conversations like this must get better and better. So the system, the avatar tells me that I did not ask for permission to share feedback, so I did not set the stage. I shared my observation, yes, but I didn't adequately describe its effect. I also did checked for understanding, but I think that I could have done a better job there. And I did not give an actionable suggestion. So then it goes on to tell me more about it. You didn't ask permission before giving feedback to your conversation partner, Elizabeth. It said you started the conversation, blah, 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 blah. So it gives me all these details about what I could have done better. It is important to first request permission or set the stage for feedback. E.g., Elizabeth, is this a good time to discuss something I've noticed? Would you mind if I shared some feedback about your recent attendance? It ensures that the recipient is prepared and helps foster a more constructive, receptive conversation. So it goes about to talk about my shared observation. It talks about the effect. I mentioned the impact of Elizabeth's lateness on the team and the work processes, specifically saying it's affecting the team's output. However, I did not explain the effect on myself. Yeah, or use I statements to convey my personal perspectives or feelings about the situation. So I did not own that particular feedback, and I missed the opportunity to humanize the feedback and help Elizabeth understand how her behavior impacts me personally as her manager. So it tells me in future feedback situations, try saying something like, I feel stressed when we can't start on time because it is my responsibility to ensure that teams meet deadlines. And then we go on to talk about checking for understanding, where you check for understanding after presenting your feedback, asking, what do you think? Is a positive step towards seeking her perspective. Asking open-ended question allows conversation partners to voice their thoughts and feelings and observations about the feedback provided. And then last but not least, I wasn't prepared enough. So because I wasn't prepared enough, I did not have clear or actionable suggestions to my partner regarding the issue of lateness. So whereas I described the impact of the lateness and acknowledged her performance, I stopped short of proposing any specific steps or solutions. So why are we sharing this? It's because these are all scenarios of things that we find ourselves faced as managers, that we face as managers. And unfortunately, sometimes the situations that we find ourselves that we want to practice are real life situations, which might go well or not go so well. So the use of AI aided avatars and being able to develop scenarios or situations that you find difficult at work. It might not be just about a defensive coworker. It could be your manager, and you're trying maybe to have some sort of buy-in from your manager, and you're wondering what is the best way to have that conversation. So in this in this AI era, the tools that we have can help us do so much, including be able to model conversations and even soft skills, and then be able to move us just from the knowing. As we said, knowledge is important, but knowledge is not enough. We have to from knowledge to capability. So what we are using AI for is to help us move from knowledge to capability. So with that in mind, what this means for human resource, for business managers, is that maybe your call to action is how can you create a safe experience for conversations that people are thinking are difficult, something that they want to try out that could be radically different from them, so that then this ability does not just exist in have that ability to engage and talk rather and the frameworks, because each of these has a framework. It has a mid once practiced enough times, then we're with every single practice and to grow our skill feedback. So technologies like cross knowledge, they help us democratize access to so that and if you think about it, in your to solve a problem. So you're trying to see what is the one thing that can move this needle. You don't need to give everyone skills, 10, 100 that they keep learning. That they need to for one, two things that actually the needle. Because at the end of the day, the learning that we do should enhance performance. So when you're talking about sales, if you're someone in sales, what is the actual conversation that drives performance? Is it closing a sale that people need to practice over and over again? Is it overcoming a client who's difficult to sell to that I need to practice that conversation over and over again? My manager might not be there for me to practice with him, or my peers for me to practice with them on how to close, but I could do this properly with avatars. Is it call contact centers where we are constantly getting people quitting in the first 2 weeks because first the onboarding is I mean, we try and do it well, but people come there, and if you're not a fast learner, you can fluster around a bit. And if you get it a bit rough inside there, within 2 to 3 weeks, you're done. You're like, this is not for me. And yet you can make onboarding so much easier by creating avatars that people can then engage with to learn the call, the whole sequence, the scripting of the call. It's very simple. Come in, call, practice, then do your first real live one, and so on and so forth. And avatars then give you that space where you are doing it safely without having to affect the quality of the conversations that happen in the contact centers. Is it coaching for clients feedback when you're giving client feedback? Is it product knowledge or reviews? So taking an initiative and then using that one initiative and converting it into a capability from a skill. And converting something into a capability means giving the space for people to experience it over and over again until they are able to do it effortlessly without well, not really effortlessly, but much, much better each time. And having an avatar that then is able to explain what are the things they did well, what didn't they do well. And with even that, they can then be able to practice live with a manager, with someone. And it's much easier for them because they've already practiced it. So think about new employees or even yourself, or even teams that you're in that need to practice certain skills to be able to function better. It could be feedback amongst ourselves. It could be feedback externally, client facing. It could be feedback amongst leadership and everyone else. It could be conversations around products. It could be conversations around business, modeling the understanding of business. And all these things are there for us to be able to utilize and then be able to create the soft skills that we need, the relational skills, the listening skills, the conversational skills that we need to make ourselves better managers. So I'll end it there and tell you there are quite a few avatars out there that you can find if you look through the World Wide Web. You can possibly create even an AI agent for you and your team that acts as an avatar for you and your team in the situations that you think are really important for your team to explore and to keep rehearsing and experiencing to make that business change that you need to see, whether it's in sales, whether it's in client service, whether it's in call centers, whether it's internally in the team. But should you then want to experience one of the avatars I've just shared, then please call on us or email us, and we can be able to set up that experience for you to understand how you can use avatars to be able to make cognitive diversity work better at the workplace. So you can leave your name, your email, and we can get back to you and you ensure that we are able to support you in this. So with that, I think I want to hand it back to Mombi, but before I do, I don't know if you've heard about our first-time manager to confident leader program or academy, where we do have the same avatar simulations for different scenarios. But more importantly, we have courses that allow you to take our DISC management style, where you have a DISC assessment that gives you insights into how you manage. We have several programs that take you through what management looks like now or maybe in the future, and how you can inspire, engage, and retain high-performing teams, harness emotional intelligence, and also build your personal brand as a trusted and focused people leader. With that, I think I want to end there and perhaps take one or two questions. Thank you very much for your attention and your time. Mumbi?
Thank you, Vicky. I think we have had everyone stay through the whole session, but maybe you might want to explain the interaction you had with the avatar at the beginning, because at some point your voice got really low. Just for those who came in and found you on the low volume to understand what it is you are doing. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mumbi. For those of you who came in low, we were actually enacting a scenario where I was giving feedback to an employee who was reporting directly to me, who was a bit defensive and who kept coming late all the time. So we had given those pointers to the avatar to take into consideration, so that then we were able to practice. I was able to practice on how I would be able to give that feedback. Before then, I went forward and did the feedback, the live feedback with this particular employee. So that's what we were trying. Of course, we didn't finish because when you're learning a skill, it takes some time. You have to repeat it 1, 2, 3 times. And we all know that in learning, it's not a one-stop thing. So this is something that I can do now, do tomorrow, and do the day after, and then I can then have my conversation. So thanks a lot. I can see there's a comment from Faith saying, what I love about AI is that the human touch remains paramount and we are challenged remains killable. Yes. And AI has given us very many tools that I believe are here to make us work even more efficiently and to connect with others. So this is one tool that allows you to grow that skill of connection with others, to be able to harness what we're calling cognitive diversity. Thank you, Faith. And if there are any other comments, please put them on the chat. There's someone who says, could you share the presentation? Yes, we will share the presentation. We will also share the recording as well, so you can have both. Any other questions? I'll give 1 or 2 minutes. If there are no other questions, then I think I will thank you all for your time. And I look forward to hosting you in the next presentation. Feel free to reach out to us. Our details are on the chat. You can see we have our Twitter handles, our social media handles. And then if you want to contact us, you can find us at info@profilesco.ke, or you can even WhatsApp us or call us on 0722 457777. And let's use the wonderful world of AI to develop these skills, such as feedback giving, so that then we're able to connect much, much easier as we progress in life. So thank you so much. And we shall speak soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Please feel free to reach us on the details on the chat. You can also have a look at the poster there in regards to the skills and an offer that we have. Thank you very much for your time. I think we can feel free to leave unless there's a question or a comment or any thoughts in regards to the session. Thank you.